Sashank sir?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Sashank sir, shall we start?
Yeah, we can
Yeah, we
start.
can start.
Okay, sir. So once again, good afternoon to one and all. Again, we are here at 3:30 for the session. This session is going to be delivered by research person Dr. Sashank Sekhar Raut upon the topic CMOS RFIC design for SOC applications. So without any further delay, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you all Dr. Raut, who has completed his PhD in the Department of ETC from VSS UT Bulla in 2019 and received his MTech degree in VLSI signal processing from VSS UT Bulla in 2014. He is currently working as an assistant prof. Sorry, sorry for the interruption. He is currently working as the associate professor in GIT University and guiding presently two PhD scholars. His research area focuses on VLSI signal processing, analog and RF CMOS circuit design, digital VLSI design, VLSI implementation in biomedical application, and low power design. Well, he has more than 7 years of academic experience and 6 months of industrial experience. And in terms of in the field of research, he has more than 30 publications in his research domain. In addition, he has also organized many seminars, workshops, webinars, conferences, and he is connected with many journals, editorial board members. He has received many rewards and appreciations. He has been the sessional chair in International Joint Conference, 10th IBICA and 9th WICT 2019, IEEE Conference ICC SEA 2020, and IEEE Conference ISSC 2020. He is a reviewer of Journal of Transactions on Microwave Theory and Techniques, International Journal of Electronics and Communication, Wireless Personal Communication, innovative ideas received under Inspire Awards, Manak for the year 2020-21, and many more. He is an innovation ambassador by MOE's Innovation Cell and AICT in New Delhi. He was awarded to the finalist Young Scientist of the Year 2021 by Humsen Global Private Limited. He was a jury member of Yuva Innovator Challenge 2021 and research speaker by Yuva Incubated and KITES Education. He was an evaluator for the Toycathon 2021 Grand Finale by Ministry of Education's Innovation Cell and AICTE, and program chair in ICSST 2021 conference on 16 to 18 December 2021. So without any further delay, I'd like to request Dr. Raut to continue with his session. Sir, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good
Very
afternoon
good
to one
afternoon
and
to
all.
Anand.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Nicely giving my intro. So I am feeling pleasure here to deliver my lecture, deliver my particular session here on the particular FDP. So once again, thank you very much all the participants who are present here. So I will try my best to make this session interesting as well as informative. So not going for the further delay, just let's start the particular session. So just I am sharing the screen. Just let me know. I think my screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Visible,
Great.
sir.
Is it fine?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Okay. So before going to the particular topic, so let's discuss regarding the particular FDP title here. That is your latest technological development system on chip applications. So day to day our life, the IC, the chips, starting from mobiles to your tablets to computer, anything we are using that one. So what nowadays, what the developments are going on? That point of view, I've already connected some industry persons and the academy persons so that they can relate or they can deliver their lectures regarding the particular SOC applications. And I think so that you have already got some information regarding that one. So here I am going to represent a particular CMOS RFIC design for that particular system on such applications. So I will focus here how the SOC application is going through particular CMOS RFIC design. So first we'll focus what about the particular RF or what is the RF IC design. In that case, we'll focus what the parameters involved here, what the exactly particular design, and what the application in this point of the what the system on chip. So that point of view, I'm going to start here. Let me off my camera for the bandwidth purpose. Okay. So I think the screen is visible clearly, and am I audible also? Am I right? Just confirm me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You are audible as well as your video, your PPT is visible, sir.
Okay, fine. So let's start the particular session. So in that case, we will include the what is the introduction in that particular topic, what the objective and application of the RFIC, and regarding the what is the layout basis here, because we are focusing the analog and RF part here. And depending upon that particular RF and IC, we will check that what is the ultra wideband receiver front end design, because we are going to present here some design which is depending upon the analog and RF basis. Then we are focusing on the Gilbert mixer design, one of my particular work already recently published. And regarding also we'll discuss the ultra low power RFIC design. So in that case, we can say that how the RFIC design is used for the low power purpose and why the SOC is here, and exactly what is the value of the SOC approach, and the conclusion we can get references. So in that case, so particular introduction in the particular CMOS basis, we can say that nowadays simply in the particular operation speed or the power consumption or the area point of view, you are mostly dependent upon the CMOS technology. As comparing to particular BJT, here we can focus that the CMOS technology. Why? Because the low cost process. So due to that low cost process, we can say that it is a superior selection for integrating that particular radio frequency to the particular baseband signal or baseband function, the particular single chip. So that's why we can say that in the chip fabrication point of view, we can assuming or we can taking the CMOS technology. So that point of view, in the wireless communication point of view, also that RFIC having much more demand due to that low power and low cost operation. So that's why we are focusing here the CMOS technology as relating to the particular wireless communication. So first we are coming here, what is RF? So what is the range of that frequency, the radio frequency? So in that case, we are discussing here the particular frequency spectrum. So in that case, we can see here the particular range is coming as what? 100 megahertz to 100 gigahertz. So as it is coming in the microwave range, so simply we can say that yes, RF is also called as the microwave frequency range. So in that case, we can say that the particular wavelength should be 3 meter to 3 centimeter. So in that interval, what the operation is going on, simply we can say that is the RF IC design. So focusing on that, we'll check what exactly the particular work leads to. So depending upon that, what is the objective of the particular RF IC? So that point of view, the particular objective is like that. So using that particular radio frequency, single chip transceiver. So when we are working on the particular RFIC, so it will be a single chip. So obviously it will be going to what? The area is going to reduce. And in that case, the minimum external components. So though we are going to fabricate or going to make integrating on single chip, so number of external components is going to minimum. And also we can say that the particular inductors or capacitors, those are already taking much more area that is going to integrate it on the particular chip. So due to that, applying the particular RFIC concept, we can say we can go for a low cost and low area IC design. So depending upon the objective, we know that what is the particular problem in the analog and RF design. That's called a what? Analog and RF octagon problem. Having 8 parameters here, you can check here how all the 8 parameters are correlated to each other. When you are increasing one parameter, at the meantime, we'll check that what is the effect on other parameter. Suppose you are working a particular design. Suppose our focus is to improve some parameter. Suppose we are improving the what or reducing the noise part, or we are check the supply voltage should be low, so that we can the power dissipation or power consumption should be low. but we have to focus that whatever the linearity and what is the gain of the particular design. So when you are anything we're designing and is some parameter is going to as good or is better than other results, don't think that your design is good and it is able to now it is fit for the chip fabrication or for the what the factory the particular foundry point of view. No, just check that whatever the other 6 or 4 parameters. So it will be, we cannot at a time we cannot say that all the parameters should be improved, but we can take a minimum standard value of the other parameters, and when we are increasing or we are improving the other parameters, just check that that improvement does not affect on the other parameters. So that's why we should have the particular focus on the 8 parameters like the noise, like the linearity, gain, supply voltage, voltage swings, whatever the speed here, and the output input impedance, and the what is the power consumption or power dissipation. So we are depending all the 8 parameters so that we can go for a particular design. So when we are focusing all these parameters, then we can say that is our design is a perfect one. So that's called as the analog RF octagon. So when we are designing the analog RF point of view, we have to focus on the 8 parameters. Next, take here, it is the beauty of the particular RFIC design. So why beauty? Because already you know the Maxwell equation. Why I am focusing here? Because as it is related to the microwave, because the RF range is in between the microwave range. So that point of view, I am just relating the Maxwell equation. Already know the 4 Maxwell equations. When we are focusing here the Maxwell equation, we check that from that Maxwell equation how we are generating the KVL and KCL, the Kirchhoff's voltage law and Kirchhoff's current law. So just remembering the particular what Faraday's law, just check the last one. You know that curl of the that E equal to the permeability into the particular of the density case. Okay, in that case when you are assuming the permeability is 0, so as you are taking the permeability is 0, we can take in the integral, so we can find that volume integral in the case of del cross equal to 0. That means total voltage around the loop is going to 0. That's nothing but the KVL loop. Similarly, in the Ampere circuital law, we can say that in this case, when you are assuming the permittivity is going to 0, that means in that case, that parameter going to vanish, and only the J is the del cross H, taking the divergence of both sides. So when they're taking the divergence of the particular density of the current density, and the divergence of the particular curl is going to 0, you know that. So that means the particular current density is going to 0. That means no net current build up to the particular node. That means we can say that it is going to be a particular Kirchhoff's current law. So you can modify or we can generate the KVL and KCL from the particular what the microwave range, that is from the RFIC. So that point of view is called the beauty of the particular RFIC design. So already you know the particular speed of the light as equal to mu into epsilon root over, and in that case we are taking the permeability and permittivity equal to 0. So in that case C is going to infinite. So we can say that it is a fast wave propagation, which gives to what? KVL and KCL equation. So what is the beauty here in this case? How to generating the particular what microwave and RF range or RF concept, so that we can generating the particular KVL and KCL concept. So that's the beauty of the particular design here. So next we are focusing why we are choosing for the CMOS for the RFIC design. Now why not the BJT or anything? Because you know that in the particular complementary MOSFET or simply we can say that MOS, so it is a faster device scaling, because we can scale down the particular parameter or the particular the parts, the length, width, all these things. So also you know that low power consumption when using the CMOS, we have already checked that the low power consumption using the particular CMOS, and also again the linearity point of view is also good, because the linearity is going to as good means the number of amplifier going to reduce. That means the ability of the particular component of the systems to provide the output signal that is directly proportional to the input signal. In that point, the linearity is going to good. So that's high linearity. That's why using the particular CMOS. And you know that applying that particular concept, we can say that it doubles roughly in the every 2 years. Applying the Moore's law as 1.8 years, simply you can say particular transistors going doubles, that size is going to reduce. So obviously going to what? The area is going to minimized. So our aim is what? Low cost and low area. Obviously going to operate in the what? Low power. And also SIM cost effective point of view, the CMOS is chosen. And we can say that both for the digital and analog block, we can also use the particular same substrate. Also, we can the on chip of realization of the on the particular case of using the passive inductors and capacitors, we can use the CMOS because they are using the inductor and resistor or the capacitor that occupies more area. So in that applying the CMOS concept, we can what implement the particular transistor or resistor or inductor to in using the CMOS concept. So that can be also reducing the area. So that's why the CMOS is important for the RFIC design. And already you know how the technology market is going on, particularly depending upon the year wise. So starting from the ECL and TTL, all these bipolar, PMOS, NMOS, then after CMOS is going on. So that's why the market shares depending upon the particular or the all the properties or the characteristics. So now focus the application area where you are using the particular RFIC design. So simply we can say that mainly your day-to-day life are using the particular RFIC design. You can say mainly the wireless communication, mobile phones, we are also using that one. And radar, navigation, sensors, medical point of view, the automobile and highways, space exploration, all the cases we are using the particular concept because of particular frequency range. So that the particular application point of view. Now just compare the particular of analog and the RF and microwave. And we are saying that no, the analog is different and the particular RF and microwave is different. Why we are saying the RF/microwave? Because the RF range is coming the particular microwave range. So when the comparing of the analog to the RF, first we are checking the discrete printed circuit board components. So in that case, we can check that the analog is a low frequency range. That is, we can say that less than of 100 megahertz. When we are discussing the particular RF is going to greater than of 100 megahertz the frequency. So that point of view, we can say that the capacitor we are taking as, or in the case of the conductor, we are taking as a simple OR for the analog point of view. But when we are discussing the particular RF and microwave frequency, it is going to a microstrip line, the parallel combination of the LC. Okay, so that point is going to the particular difference in the analog and particular RF. And simply in the capacitor, we are just checking as a ceramic capacitor. But in the case of the particular high frequency or RF or micro range, we are taking as thin film, the particular surface mount device. That means the particular components are going to mount it on the surface. So that's the combination of the LRC components. And in the place of the resistor, you are taking as let's say the carbon as one resistor part. In that case, again you are using the particular combination of RL series with parallel with the capacitor. That's again the thin film of the what surface mount device. And in the case of the inductor, you are connecting the wire wound in the case of the particular analog, but in the case of the particular RF and microwave, you are taking the particular inductor and resistance series with the capacitor. So that on the particular discrete printed circuit board component point of view. That way you can differentiate the analog and RF and microwave. So in the performance point of view, we can also differentiate both cases. So in the analog point of view, we can say that the small signal AC equivalent circuit analysis we can do. But in the case of the RF case, we can say that the particular small signal AC equivalent circuit is going to high with parasitics. That means the modeling is good in that case. And in the case of that analog, the linearity is point of view. But here, the RF and microwave, we are applying the matching concept. And the stability and the noise, also in that case of analog is going to few cases. But in the case of the particular RF and microwave noise, we can comparing the noise, stability, linearity, sensitivity, and dynamic range. So how much of stable of the particular system? For the range, in that range, it is going to operate. So how it is going to sensitive to other parameters? So that point of view, we are going to comparing the analog to this particular RF and microwave. That's why the particular days we are using the RFIC design. And going to the particular comparison of the particular monolithic microwave IC to RFIC. So in that case of the particular monolithic, we can say that in the range of the what 300 megahertz to particular 300 gigahertz range, and the RF is 100 megahertz we already discussed. So in that case, how to differentiate the particular case? So depending upon the particular what development cost. So in the case of the particular monolithic microwave, we can say that it is moderate, but in the RFIC, the development cost is very high. And the modification point of view is relatively easy and inexpensive for the part of the particular MMIC. But in the RFIC, it is expensive and generally one or more new marks. And the built up material in that case, we can say that particular it will be low in the particular monolithic microwave. But in the case of the RFIC, it is going to particular depends upon the volume and the particular process are using. And the mixing technology depends upon the particular what is we are using the particular device technology, mainly mixing the BJT, MOS, all these things. But in the RFIC, limited scope. For the parts count, so here the MMIC high parts count, but here the RFIC is going to low to very low. So the size is going to small to medium in the case of MMIC, but we can check that the size is going to reduce the smallest size. And simply we can say that the mass transistor will be what? Difficult to implement. So what here the transistors like the CMOS concept is going to very good and used extensively. So as it is going to very small and that is going to chip fabricated in the particular low area, so we can say that your design is going to what appreciated and is going to apply to particular market. So in that way, you can difference a particular monolithic microwave IC to the particular RFIC. Next, so what are the disciplines required? Particular RF design, because we are discussing here the RF design. What knowledge, what the area should be required? So depending upon that, we can focus that. So communication theory. You know all the communication theories we have to learn because that is going to implement. And we have the random signals because the signal is the first element here. Applying that signal, we can say that is it is converting that signal to that the RF to IF signal, that RF to RLO signal in that way. Next, we have transceiver architecture because we are going to implement that RF design. So the particular transmitter and receiver is going to particular transceiver design where all the mixer, LNA, amplifier, all the blocks are VCO, all these are connected, integrated. So that the transceiver architecture should the particular, we can say that the area of the particular field should be needed for that RF design. Next, we can focus that the IC design. So the particular integrated circuit design will be required for that, studying a particular focusing on the radio frequency design. And also the CAD tools, in which particular tool we are going to implement. That's a particular also another important parameter. And also we can say that wireless standard. So exactly like we can say that as IEEE or we can say that FCC. So the particular standard we are using for that communication point of view or the particular RF design point of view. Next, we are focusing the multiple access like FDMA, TDMA, and CDMA. All the concepts can apply here also, so that we can the particular access, the particular processing is going to the particular RF design. Similarly, we can use the particular concept of signal propagation. Because depending upon the noise and all these things, the signal propagation is also another field, another discipline which is going to attach for the RF design. Next, the microwave theory. Already I discussed here how all the laws and how the frequency range is going to implement, how the S parameter calculation is going to, so how it is going to the RF design. So all these are the disciplines required. So you have to some knowledge to when you are designing to the RF circuit or the radio frequency design point of view. Am I audible clearly?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Okay, fine. Thank you, ma'am. So next we are focusing the particular layout effects. So that's a very important part here. When you are designing the RF design, so when you are going to design, it's okay. And you did the simulation, it's fine. But because your aim should be to make a fabrication or make a chip, to make the particular GDS file so that we can send to the what fabrication point of view, the foundry. You can send to the foundry so that we can make a fabrication chip. So depending upon that, we have to draw the layout. We can go for the particular parasitic extraction or the post simulation. So in the post simulation point of view, you have to design the layout. So in the layout point of view, when we are going to layout, we have to check the parasitics. That's called the particular resistance, capacitance, and the particular inductance for the effect there. So you have to check what is the effect of that resistance, capacitance, inductance in the layout. That's the parasitics effects. So we have to reduce the parasitics effects. So when we are reducing the parasitic effects and we are going to the particular post simulation result, and we are checking the pre-simulation before the layout and after the layout, the post simulation result. And we are checking that is the result is matching. So we can say yes, my design is ready for the foundry. Now we can send to the foundry for the fabrication point of view to make a chip. Then we can go for the measurement result. Because nowadays when we are designing something, you cannot say that your design is good. Without the fabrication, without the measurement result, you cannot say. And when you're writing a particular paper, as a reputed journal, they all are asking the reviewers, your result should be compared with the particular measurement result, not like only simulation result. So that point of view, you have to do the minimum of post simulation, so that you can say the parasitics effects are reduced and your result is said that is better one way of the particular measurement result. So that's why the layout effect should be important for the RFIC design. So for that point, we'll focus here how we'll focus the layout. So how to draw the layout. So just check here. So the analog, or we can say that RF layout basics will how it will affect what the particular performance of the all these layout concepts. So we can say that the particular RF layout is very difficult, and also we can say time consuming, because everything is going to customized. And simply that point of view, we require the particular basic knowledge of the IC and the circuit design. We cannot draw a layout. And you know that the particular academic point of view and the industry point of view is different. I have already worked for 6 months in the industry. And whatever I did my PhD career, like that academic design, an academic layout point of view. And that concept is not going to apply to the industry. That is customized one. That is standard design. So in that point, we can say that yes, we have to know all the particular rules and the particular concepts going to apply in the layout. Randomly, you cannot draw the layout. We have to apply some concepts. So that is going to customize, going to reduce the parasitics. So for the better performance, we'll focus that. So giving the importance to the particular symmetries, and we can match the particular components. So a matching component means parasitic extraction is going to reduce. The resistance and capacitance effect is going to reduce. And as well as the minimizing the parasitics as much as possible when we are focusing on the particular analog and RF layout. And also when we are focusing on the particular layout, the minimizing the offset. So we have to minimize the offset issues. And also we have to avoid the interference. And also we can say optimize the interconnections as the metal line is connected one particular terminal to another terminal. So we have to focus that how it is going to optimize so that it cannot occupy the more area. And placement, proper placements of the particular routings and modules or sub-modules. And at least the final one is the artistic work, how it looks. That's important also. We can draw anyway, but the importance of looks, yeah, that's good, fine, and that looks good. So that chip fabrication will be going, that layout is fantastic. So from the layout point of view, you can see, yes, that is going to very customized one. So also we can focus all these particular parameters, or we can say that performance. So we have to focus on this case so that we can say that yes, the particular layout basis, the performance is going to better. So in that case, again, we are focusing the particular general constants or what are the particular design rules here. So we have to at least obey that particular rules, the geometrical point of view and the physical point of view. So in the geometrical point of view, what we should obey the minimum width and length. When we go to a particular transistor using the MOSFET, or we can see in the particular MOS here, the width and length we should be minimized on the particular lithography or etching, all the process. And also minimum spacing required, because geometric point of view, what the mask using, what the particular labels are using there. So in that case, the spacing should be reduced, like metal to metal spacing. The particular standard one is there. So you can maintain the standard one. So let's say 2 micron or 2 lambda, let's metal to metal one. So in that case, a metal to polysilicon. So it is 3 lambda lengths. So in the 3 lambda, we have to maintain a 3.1 or 3 exactly. So you are reducing the less than 3 lambda, it is going to particular error. Okay, so that's why that does not mean that we will maintain as 4 micrometer or 10 micrometer or 4 lambda like that. So we have to maintain the particular spacing. And also we can say that here the enclosures, like the particular geometry which is going to surround by the another, which is minimum, and the extension, that is the geometry must be cross one another. In that point, the particular geometric point of view, that particular all the parameters, all these things should be going to minimize. And for the physical point of view, we have some rules. When I go to the particular design, particular layout, so we have to focus that yes, we have designed the layout from the particular circuit design. Just check that design rule check. All the components, input, outputs are correlated to each other, not. whatever the particular schematic you have and the layout, it is samely connected or not. If you are going to disconnect, you're having the design rule check error. And electrical load check, in that case, will find which component. We can say that what exactly you are getting the particular PMOS, and that PMOS in that case or not. The NMOS connected, not the particular drain to source or not like that. Or all the electrical connections we check there. After that, we'll check is the electrical, we'll check the data of the error here and the particular lambda or the particular spacing error here. We can minimize that one. So when the particular error, it will be showing the particular, the particular we are using the software. So just click that one and you can customize or you can reduce the particular error there to solve the error. So that's in the case of electrical tool check. Then after that, your particular DRC and ERC is going to check. Go to the automatic will show the layout versus schematic. That's will going to the particular is your layout design and your schematic is going to for matching. That's perfect. Then you can say that is that is the case. Now next work is your parasitic extraction. That means what about the components, resistance, capacitance are there, we can check there. Automatically the parasitic extraction view will be there. So we check how many resistors, how many capacitors are there. If it is going to more, then automatically the area is occupying more. So depending upon that, we can also reduce the particular parasitic extraction by again what customizing the particular design, again redrawing the particular one, reducing the DRC and errors, again ERC errors. So that point of view, we can say that is after the particular checking of the layout versus schematic, we can go for the parasitic extractions. Next, we are focusing the particular issues. Exactly here, because analog and RF layout, both cases we are going to the particular frequency range depends, but the particular layout point of view, it obeys the same rules here. So when suppose you are not reducing the parasitics, the resistance of the parasitic capacitance, then that type of problems will face. What? It raises an unintended what? Pole and zero concepts. Okay, so as we can say that pole and zero is going to increase means obviously going to the area will be going to more. And the particular increase of the inter-symbol interference. So as the interference going to increase, obviously there will be disturbance in the particular design. And due to the parasitic resistance, it acts as a thermal noise source. So as we can say that there will also creating a thermal noise due to the parasitic resistance is more. And we can say that long interconnect as a parasitic inductor or LC resonator. So the long interconnection, we can automatically acting as a what parasitic inductor, or simply we can say that LC resonator. That point of view, we can say that we have to focus all these issues, or simply we can say that all the particular the effects coming, and the parallel placement of interconnects raise a crosstalk of signal. So when going to the parallel connection of the particular interconnection, so there is a crosstalk of the signals. So when you are going to the particular design, all these issues are there. So we have to look on these particular issues. And asymmetric placement of interconnections creates skew in the digital signals and phase lag in the analog signals. So due to the, if you're not going to symmetric operation, so obviously it is going to a particular disturbance in the digital signal, and also you can the lagging of the particular analog signal. So that point of view, we can say that we have to focus on the particular what all these issues. So next, go to the all the techniques. So when you are designing a particular layout, so we have to focus on the particular techniques, like a single transistor layout. When you are going to a particular single transistor layout, you can check here the particular transistor of the crossing of two rectangles, a polysilicon and active area. So you can check here the particular case here. Let's say the polysilicon gate here, and we're focusing the drain at the source or drain. So in the particular case, the particular two rectangles we can define here as drain and source are altered, and the particular active area or the polysilicon also here. And in the case of the multiple fingers, that means we are going to reducing the particular gate resistance and parasitic capacitance. So due to the reduction of that particular capacitance resistance effects, so obviously the particular reducing the layout area. So we can check here, as we can say that here, the particular source and drain is here, and the particular, we can say that polysilicon gate here. When we are going to connecting as the particular two MOSFET, we can check here, we have altered the particular case. So drain and source are here linked here, we can check here. Both sources linked here, both, and we can say that two sources of the two MOSFET
because the drain and source here, again source and drain here, the another MOSFET. When it is going to the particular multiple finger concept you're using, in that case, it is going to merge of the both source part. In that way, the particular area is going to reduce, so that the capacitance is going to reduce here. So in the case of when you are using the more number of transistors, only we can say that is the particular, we can say that the reduce is going to reduce, the particular area is going to reduce. Obviously, the parasitic effects is reducing there. So you have to apply the concept when you are designing the layout. Next is what? Interdigited divides. What? We are connecting the particular what? The inter means what? Suppose you are connecting the particular, suppose MOSFET A, MOSFET transistor A, that source, that drain. Another transistor source and drain. In that case, would interlink. That the matching and accuracy point of view, we can go for the interdigited device. Obviously, it's going to reducing the layout area. And the orientation point of view, we can choose the particular orientation. So better accuracy point of view and the current flowing will be in the same direction. So we have to make the particular orientation of the device. And also we can say that due to the particular orientation, the process and temperature variation effects are less. So when we are designing the particular layout, we have to look the particular orientation. We cannot place the particular transistor in any direction or any orientation, because it all occupied more area, occupying the particular more temperature variation, process variations. So next go to the common center. It's a very important one, because that concept is going to apply to the industry. I've already worked with the standard design, standard cells. That common centered concept is very good. But in that case, the particular concept is particular part is going to integrated in a particular point. So that's why the gradients of the particular is going to compensate it, and the matching and accuracy is going good here. So that point we can check here, as we can say that A MOSFET drain here and drain MOSFET B here, and the source part here A part and source of B part, both are going to here are the common centered part. So mixing here to make a single one. So automatically going to here the polysilicon going to mix here. So here the arrangement is what? AB and BA. We can make it BA, AB like that. So we check what is the particular drain source making AB, BA, or BB or AA. In that case, we'll go for the particular selection of the arrangement. Depending upon that, we can also go for the matching and accuracy is good. Next, focusing the dummy device on the ends. Suppose you have already designed the particular layouts. In that case, we are using a dummy. That dummy device going to sorted the transistors and extra transistors. Why we are using? For matching purpose. For the particular any complex circuit, critical circuits, for that point we are using the dummy devices in that case. And again we are using the guide rings. So the for what protection point of view or the particular noise from outside, you are using the guide rings. So mainly the guide rings is going to connect it to the particular ground potential. Suppose any design is already there, and after that we are going to use a guide ring, so that it can prevent from the particular outside noise. Then bending line. Suppose you are designing the particular circuit in the layout point of view, we are going to the bending line concept. What is going to reduce the current crowding, and also the particular migration, electromigration reduction. That's why the bending line concept is going to apply in the particular industrial or particular what specified the customized layout design. Next, we can say that symmetric line. So in that case, to improve the common mode rejection ratio, you are using the symmetric line concept. So automatically to the symmetric line, it is going to reduce the delay and phase mismatches. So that's why that particular symmetry line concept is very applicable for the layout basis. And where also we can use the orthogonal line, like the metal 1 to metal 5 to metal 7. We're using the particular orthogonal lines, which is going to reduce the parasitic resistance or capacitance here. And also reducing the routing complexity. If you are using the what, not the orthogonal lines, any lines you are using, so automatically the complexity is going to increase. So that's why the area also may be increased. And due to that particular complexity, the parasitic effects are there. So due to the parasitic effects, you are hampering the particular result, the performance, or the area is going to also increase due to the particular parasitic effect. So that point too, you have to focus all these issues, all the rules to follow the particular design or particular layout design. Next, go to the second part. What? The ultra wideband receiver front-end design. In the previous case, we have already studied what is the concept and what is the particular RFI's issues and the particular layout concepts. that is going to implemented on the particular front-end design. So here I am focusing the ultra wideband range. So in the particular range, 3.1 to 10.6 gigahertz range by the Federal Communication Commission, in that case, it already defined. So that particular ultra wideband communication was first conceived by 1960, and it is used for the military communications and sensing and radar communications also. So it is already allocated by the FCC as 3.1 to 10.6 gigahertz. In that range only will work. So that's why it's called ultra wideband. And that ultra wideband design systems, we can focus on the what? Providing the particular integrated low cost and low power and wideband performance in the short distance RF front-end with a multi gigahertz bandwidth. So that's why the ultra wideband is very important, because it's going to low cost and also integrating operation and the low power and the wideband performance in a short distance. And we can also say that for the low voltage and low power operation point of view, the ultra wideband device enables the mobile communication transmitter to reducing the size and weight. So our concept of what the particular transceiver are using or receiver using, or we can say the transceiver using, is going to reduce, and also going to what weight is also going to low, and size is going to also reduce. So if you are like that, getting that type of properties, or you can get up benefits. So why we are not going to use the particular ultra wideband range? So that's why focusing the ultra wideband range. Next, going to what the communication, because in that communication system only you are applying that particular concept, the transceiver part. Okay, so day to day life we are using the particular electronics components which contains the communication systems, like what? One, the transmitter part, and is called as receiver part. So we can say that back end and front end part. So in the particular back end part or the transmitter part, the modulator on the back end part, which is coming from the source information, getting a transmitter via the channel or media, we are getting the information, we are receiving the information from the transmitter by the front end and demodulator, modulating the signal. After that demodulating, then we are getting the particular what user information at the output side. So focusing on the particular communication systems, we can go for any design and using the particular ultra wideband communication concept. So now focus on the receiver front end part. Just we are discussing the last slide what both the front end and back end part. In the particular transmitter side, the back end part is there. In the receiver side, front end part there. So what is the front end design? So check here. The receiver front end simply a cascading of integrating of different blocks. The linearity of the particular transmitter, we can say it is going to depend upon the particular mixture. We can see there the mixture is the particular part, particular sub block here. So here also containing the RF filter, low noise amplifier, and the voltage control oscillator, all that connected or cascading to make the particular front end design. But mixer is the particular sub block where the particular linearity is going to dominated by that particular sub block. So that's why here I am focusing the mixer here, mixing the two signals, the RF signal and the LO signal, local oscillator frequency signal from the VCO. That is going to mix, and we're generating the IF signal or infrared frequency signal here. So that point of view, we are focusing the mixer here. So that's why I'm focusing that mixer is called as frequency conversion circuit. So in that radio frequency mixer, the most building block in the particular content receiver, and it is called as what? A non-linear device. Why? The frequency translation is done, and also it acts as a multiplier. You can check here. Simply we are getting the what? Two signals. Suppose RF is a sine wave, local oscillator a cos wave, going to both multiply, so that the cos wave into sine wave, cos into sine, that getting the particular, let's cos a plus b or cos s minus b in that format. So here the two signals going to subtracted and going to added here, and subtraction part is going to what? Filtered out, and that difference is getting the IF signal. So that point of view, we can say that RF and the radio frequency and the local oscillator frequency going to mix in by through the mixer. We are getting the infrared IF frequency signal. So depend upon that particular part, we can say that two types of mixers are there. One is your what? Passive mixer, another is called as active mixer. So mainly we are focusing the active mixer. Why? Because the active mixers are usually preferred for the conversion gain point of view, or we can say that low noise figure point of view. But in the passive mixture, the what? We can say that there is a loss, conversion loss. And the linearity is not good. That's why you're focusing mainly the active mixtures. So depending upon that, there are, we can say that 3 types of mixtures, maybe passive, maybe active. So maybe single-ended and single balance and double balance. So one after another, double balance mixer has much more advantages. What the advantages here? So both the local oscillator and the RF particular are going to the particular ports are going to balance. So what? After balancing, the particular local oscillator and RF rejection are the IF output. So also it is going to the linearity is going to increase comparing the single-ended or single balanced. And the suppression of the particular spurious or the outside products are going to the improve here, but having some disadvantage in that case. So everything have some disadvantage. So here the local higher LO drive required is more. So also we are using the balance here. So with the using the 2 balance here, we can say that the area is also more here. And the what about the particular ports are using here? It will going to what sensitive, more sensitive to particular reacting to other terminal points. So that point of view, this is the disadvantage, and this is the most advantage is that like that the linearity is going to increase, and the suppressing the particular products, various products, and the particular the LO and RF are balanced here, so that we can getting the particular RF output. So depending upon that, the particular mixer is a Gilbert cell mixer or Gilbert type mixer. So it is a most popular mixer or active mixer, that is also a double balance mixer in the RFIC design. So by the scientist Gilbert, the particular mixer is designed, and it is a double balance mixer. So why it is used? Because the port to port isolation means what? The particular, we can say that what are the LO and what are the RF is going to particular in port, we are getting what? The matching in the case, we are getting exactly the IF output. So matching that frequency is going to matching there. And high linearity. So we can say that particular, the ability of the particular system providing the output signal, which is directly proportional to the particular input signal. So high linearity depends upon the particular what? IIP3, input intercept point. What is that one? When the output power or the input power both are going to match, in that case having a particular point that are going to intersect, that is the point of the IIP3. From that we can going to calculate the linearity. So also the conversion gain is here in the Gilbert cell mixer, and the size is also compacted. So that point of view, the Gilbert cell mixer is used. You can check here. This is the Gilbert cell mixers. So here mainly 3 stages. We can check here. The first is going to the load stage. The RL is the load stage here. Second stage you can check here as the LO stage or switching stage. And third one is called a transconductance stage or RF stage. Then the particular tail current source. So whatever the particular supply voltage given, and we are checking that what the current flowing, and we are getting the output in that particular load stage here. So RF input given in that side, and the local oscillator input given that side, and after that operations we are getting the IF output in that particular load side. We check in the particular design here. But in the Gilbert cell mixer has some disadvantage, that is high supply voltage and power consumption. This is the disadvantage in the Gilbert cell mixer. So when we are working in the Gilbert cell mixer, so we have to apply some concept and techniques so that that disadvantage of supply voltage or power consumption high is going to reduce. Like suppose the high power consumption, suppose we are applying one concept bulk injection technique. So in the bulk injection technique, the bulk and the particular source part is going to connect. So as the particular threshold voltage is going to change here. A threshold voltage is going to change means automatically the ID, the current equation, drain current equation is related to threshold voltage. That's going to reduce. And depend upon that one, the current is flowing, we'll check there. And also for that, depend upon that, the power consumption or P equal to V into I. So obviously going to the low supply voltage, the power consumption is also going to reduce. So applying the particular concept or the particular we can say the technique, we can also reduce that particular drawbacks of the Gilbert cell mixer. So depending upon that, we have to focus all these parameters, because when I design the mixer design, that parameter should be a particular standard one. We can maintain the particular parameters. Likewise, what? The conversion gain. What is the output, particular IF output by ratio of the particular input, RF input. That should be high. So the conversion gauge high means what? Automatically the number of amplifiers going to reduce. So obviously it's going to be a particular low area design. And noise figure. What noise figure here? The signal to noise ratio at the particular RF input or the input side divided by the signal to noise ratio the particular output side. It should be low. So as much as the noise figure is going to be low, so we can say that the particular result is better. And isolation, that is a particular matching the port isolation, it should be good. Isolation good means linearity is also going to high. So that's why the high linearity should be required. And the input intercept point, already I discussed in the last slide. It should be what? High. The IIP3 should be high. So that linearity point of view, we can say that the output power is going to the particular desired output and the particular, we can say the actual output going to match. And the impedance matching. So that we can say the maximum power can transfer. The impedance matching should be good. And the area is going to minimize. So all the parameters are important in that particular mixer design. So when we are going to design the mixer case, so we have to focus all these parameters minimum. And already you know what is the octagon or analog on a particular RF octagon problem, the octagon parameters. Also we have to focus that parameter also. So here just I am showing to here what particular work here that is already published in the Spinger journal, that is your DTMOS based Gilbert mixer design. So that is the DTMOS means dynamic threshold MOSFET here applying. In the place of normal MOSFET, you are changing to dynamic threshold MOSFET. Okay, and in that case, the particular Gilbert mixer already there, and you are applying the particular in the place of the Gilbert mixture, where adding the particular transistor is going to replace the DTMOS. Also, we are applying some concepts here, techniques here, and that is going to apply in the medical implanted communication receiver. So in that case, we can say that the particular, in the recent years, we can say that the medical device mainly depends upon the particular improvement in the IC. So depending upon that, the particular implanted medical device is going to demanding due to the power consumption in all the type of medical devices like the pacemaker. So depending upon that, you are applying that concept here in the MICS receiver. And the MICS, medical implanted communication service, in that case, the range is already defined, that is 402 megahertz to 405 megahertz. In that particular range, the particular work is already designed so that it is suitable for the particular application in the biomedical, like a pacemaker, the receiver already there. You can use the particular receiver. In that case, the receiver, the mixer is a block. So that design can be fit for the receiver. So you can say that yes, it is useful for the MICS receiver. Because if you are using the particular mixer as the low power, low consumption, having a high linearity point of view, yes, the design is a new one. So the MI receiver or MICS range, we can say that is a short range wireless link to diagnose or the monitoring the biomedical signals, in particular the particular low power implanted medical devices and the external instruments. And mainly the MICS receiver is going to be essential for the low power operations. So obviously as a result is going to a longer battery life. So when you are using the particular receiver, your design receiver, and that is going to operate in the low power, okay, and the pacemaker, let's say pacemaker is acting as 11 years validity, longevity. So that point of view, we can say that you are using the particular concept of particular receiver there, and obviously the longer battery life will be there due to the low power operation. So that point of view, that application point of view, we can say that that design is also effective. So here you can check just the design here. This is the design. Already you check the Gilbert type mixer, but here we added some concept. The what? First is the DTMOS concept, dynamic threshold MOSFET. One is a current source helper, another is a switched biasing. So applying that three concepts in the particular Gilbert mixer, then it is going to what? Improve in the particular performance of the design. Okay, so here also same thing, the three stages. The first one, the what? Load stage. So here you are using the two extra transistor M1 and M2 is going to parallel to the load. That's called as a current source helper for what? Increment of the gain. And here the local oscillator given here, that is called as switching stage here from N3 to N6. So simply we can say that that particular design consisting of the load stage RL, we can say here it's RL with a parallel connection of the current source helper M1 to M2, And we can say that switching stage or LO stage from M3 to M6 here. And the transconductor stage we can say here as M7 to M8. And the particular tail current stage with a switching bias technique. So tail current stage we're connecting here as M9 to M10, having a switching bias stage. So already know that previously it was simply a current source, the tail current source, the current flowing. But here it is applying the particular switch bias stage. We are using the MOSFET here. Clear? So in that case, we can say that applying that particular two techniques here, so we are going to improve the particular parameters. So in that case, the particular we can check here, the load stage or RL stage, that is going to convert the particular IF current to IF voltage. Whatever the current flowing here is going to convert it to the what IF voltage here. Before that, here the impedance matching and voltage headroom issues going to what by the particular active element M1 and M2 transistors that constituted by the RL stage. So due to the using the M1 and M2, the particular impedance matching issue and the particular voltage headroom issue is already there is going to solve. That's why applying the particular current source helpers. And also the conversion of the particular RF current to IF current is done by the local oscillator stage, LO stage here. So here the IF current is going to found from the RF current. And what is the RF current here? That is from the RF stage. Because already you check here the RF voltage given here. And that stage going to convert that RF voltage to RF current. And that is going to the particular switching stage here. Okay, and here the DTMOS with the low threshold voltage, we can say that are taken in the place of the standard CMOS. You can check here, every case is here. The particular bulk is going to connect it to drain, what? The particular base. Similarly, you can check here, the particular bulk is connected to the particular gate terminal. In the place of the replacing the standard MOSFET, here the DTMOS going to the lower threshold voltage operation. So which reduces the power consumptions. And here also another two concepts, current source helpers and the switch bias techniques are implemented to improve the particular conversion gain, or we can say that noise performance, or we can say that port isolation, also we can say the linearity of the particular mixer design. So applying the DTMOS first, what we can say that the particular connection from the bulk to gate, as the bulk to gate is going to connect it, so you can say that the particular applying the particular threshold voltage concept. So here the threshold voltage is going to what change. A threshold voltage is going to change. Obviously, you are getting the particular reducing the particular incremental gate voltage where the bulk and the gate of the device is going to interlink. So that we can say that the threshold voltage is going to reduce. So we can say that the particular DTMOS is going to voltage a low voltage operation. So going to the high current drive. Okay, than the particular MOSFET. So due to the particular case, we are going to the particular low power consumption. So that is the concept here. So you can take here what I discussed. I think that part is already here. So DTMOS is the ability to tie the bulk to gate. So when bulk is connected to the gate, then the particular threshold voltage of the transistor going to reduce with the incrementing the gate voltage, where the bulk and the gate of the device are interlinked together. So here the DTMOS is preferable for the low voltage operation due to the large amount higher current drive than the normal MOSFET. So in that case, the low transistor RL is put in parallel with the additional current source M1, M2. I've already discussed. So getting the higher resistor values which increase the conversion gain. Okay, so in that case, remember the gain here minus GM into RL. So they're working in the particular analog field, we can automatically find that things. So here the current source operate at the edge of saturation to reduce the transconductance as well as noise current to improve the linearity of the proposed mixer. And here the switch biasing technique is implemented in the place of static bias current to reduce the noise. You can check here. In that case, simply there is a static current here, but it is breakthrough as two transistors that are called switch biasing, and it operates in two states, on state, off state. So off state means it is nothing will be there. On state, when it is operating, so in that case, when the particular, we can say that is a particular linear stage, okay, but saturation condition operating, when you go to the again to linear, it is going to remember it don't remember the particular previous current. So that point of view, the switch biasing concept is applicable to reducing the particular noise. Clear? So that point of view, you can say that we are reducing the particular what noise applying the switch bias concept. That the case here. So now it is implementing, and it is already implemented in the particular Cadence tool, the analog tool there, and using the particular UMC Foundry, we can say that applying that 180 nanometer, I've already designed that one, and that about the particular result here. The transient analysis of the mixer design, we show the particular frequency range. So that point of view, you can say that we can say here we can check the RF and particular what already taken the RF as 403 megahertz range, and LO frequency is 393 megahertz. Clear? So in that case, when depending upon the RF and LO frequency, we know that IF equal to what? RF minus LO. So in that case, having the 10 megahertz difference here, and from that we can check here as we're taking the RF and LO in the time scale, we are finding that is that particular frequency coming as 1/2 equal to 10 megahertz. So that is, we can say that the particular design is working here. So depend upon that, we can say that our design is perfect or it's going to oscillate here. Clear? So now we can check the particular simulation result of the particular conversion gain. So here the conversion gain is coming as 12.5 dB. Where we're taking the particular 5 dBma in the particular decibel in millimeter in the case of the local oscillator power here. So higher conversion gain. I've already compared with the other parts. So after the post simulation, it's the post simulation result after drawing the layout. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So next we are checking the what? The particular noise. So here the noise figure is reduces with the particular IF, particular infrared frequency increment, and is about going to 6.6 dB. You can check here as 6.6 dB, the particular range of 10 megahertz range. So noise part is going to also going to reduce in that case. Okay, so we can, that point of view, we can say that yes, that noise figure going to reduce. And also in that case, we can check here, that is the post simulation layout here, already did. So that whatever already checked, and we have already, that is the particular case, it is a academic point of view, the design, and that can be customized in the particular industry point of view. The area is occupied here, let's 0.035 into 0.03 millimeter square. But when you are applying all that techniques already I've discussed, okay, so in that case, the particular area may be reduced. So that's why whatever the concepts already applied and ATMOS concept, all the stages here in the particular area. After the post simulation result, we have already checked the particular result. So that we can say that yes, my result is up to that level. So it may be we can find the generate the GDS file for the foundry, so that we can design the particular chip. The next, in that case, we can say that that design is implemented in the particular UMC Foundry 18 nanometer technology. Someone can implement also 90 or 45 or 27 or 22 nanometer technology. And that particular combination of the integration of the current source helper and the switch bias technique, implementing the higher conversion gain or high linearity and the low noise figure. So also the low supply voltage and concept and the low power consumption, that particular DTMOS is already implemented. So that particular DTMOS concept and the switch bias technique and the current source helpers gives a supply voltage of 0.9 voltage, which consuming the 0.55 milliwatt power, with the conversion gain of 12.5 dB, and the local power will be 5 dBm, depends on the noise figure of the 6.6 dB with the input intercept point equal to 3.92 dB. Depending on the input intercept point, we can say that the linearity also going to improve. So that point of view, that particular design, the particular proposed mixer with the improved performance, as is, we can operate as a building block for the MICS receiver design. That means in the pacemaker, in the receiver, that is a mixer is a subblocks, we can replace that mixer, that particular mixer to that proposed mixer with the combination of DTMOS and your particular switch bias technique and current source helpers. So that is the particular design here. So now we'll focus in here, what is the particular low power RF side design. So depending upon that, what should the particular main keywords. So mainly focusing the what? CMOS technology. The technology should be perfect. Because nowadays 7 nanometer and 22 nanometer is going on at the industry point of view. Okay, so then that case, the 0.1 for 180 nanometer, yeah, 0.18 micrometer, yeah, 90 nanometer, yeah, going to 40 nanometer. The technology, dependent technology, we can say that yes, it's going to us a customized standard one, and that is going to acceptable in the industry or the market. So also the system on chip for high degree of integration, because in that what the system on chip here, because it is a particular chip. So here we are integrating the number of electronics components, a particular substrate. Otherwise, in that case, to make a particular single chip. So in the particular, depending on the main keywords, the low voltage. So it will be should be down to the 1 volt. And we can also say the active power, that power required to what at least operate the particular design, that should be in milliwatt level. And the standby power for like the in standby power, we can say that for off your computer, the standby power required. So it should be down to the microwatt power. And the particular narrowband range, like the 100 megahertz, 2.4 gigahertz, like the Zigbee application. So in the Zigbee application, you are in a particular narrowband. And also ultra wide band, also you can say that 3.1 gigahertz to the 10.6 gigahertz. In that case, also you can use, as we have already used the MICS receiver, 404 to 405, the megahertz range. Okay, depending upon that, all these things, we can say that yes, that ultra low power RF size is important. That is going to the particular SoC application. So that is the case, you can check. Next, how we are giving the value of the particular system on chip. So that point of view, you focus all these parameters. What? First, the ultra low power, so 1 volt to the range of 400 megahertz to 2.4 gigahertz. The power management, we are using the DC to DC or the regulators. And the microprocessor for the 8B or 6P controllers, or we can use the particular DSP for the bit of the size of the particular DSP processors. And digitally, you can using the particular memory element here, this RAM or ROM, anything there. And the timing, the crystal oscillator, or the we can say that RTC, or simply we can the real time clock they're using here, the timing point of view. And the sensor interface. Mainly we are using the analog to digital converter or the filters, amplifiers. So all are going to give the particular value on the system on chip. So that's why we're focusing the system on chip. So main motto of the particular FDP. So depend upon that. So why here the SoC? So we can say that our main motivation is like that. What the creation of the SoC is that the particular moving ahead to the future. So what goal is like that, to reduce the particular energy waste and save up to the particular spending of cost, as well as we can say that reduce the particular area occupied by the systems. And with this particular system on chip, we achieve all these goals, which is going to size down the size, which is normally multi-chip designs in a particular single processor, which uses the much less power. That already, whatever already used before, applying that SoC concepts, we are going to what? Having some more advantage over the other IC design. So that SoC technology is used in smaller size personal computers also laptops, to reduce the power consumptions, or improving the particular performance of the tablets or the notebooks by using the particular singular chip, or we can say that to managing the particular various aspects of the particular systems. So nowadays also that SoC is used in the IoTs, Internet of Things, embedded systems also, cars, automobiles, smartphones. Day to day we're also applying the particular concept here, SoC. So what are the main advantages here? We can say that. So essentially the great benefits of using an SoC are what? Power saving. Because everybody wants what? My mobile will operate, let's say it will be 3 years or 3 days. Backup should be more. So that way we have to design the particular, we check the particular processor, we can check the particular chip. Space saving and the reduction of the particular cost. Processor cost will be low, means automatically the mobile is going to low cost. So that depends upon the SoC, the system on chip. That depends upon other parameters, that particular technology, all the particular parameters, what are the particular length, width are using there, what technology are using. Depending upon that, it is going to on the effect on the particular performance. So we can say that the system on chip is much more efficient for their performance in maximizing for what. The system on chip also tend to minimize the latency provided the various elements are strategically placed in other motherboard in order to minimizing the interference or interconnection delays, which is going to speed up the data transmission process. So that is the case. Here, printed circuit board to that SoC. So the printed circuit board concept is gone. Then it is going to the SoC concept. That in the SoC system on chip, you are going to integrating or fabricating all the components which occupying the less area, reducing the delays, minimizing the interference by making a single chip, which saves our power, space, and also the cost reduction. That point of view, that part is very important. So here I have related already the RFIC design to how the SoC will be implemented in the particular case. And finally, I'm going to conclude here. So in that case, the CMOS RFI design actively focus on the design and implementation of the ultra low power and low voltage RF circuits, which including all the components of the transceivers. Already we have checked the low noise amplifier, VCO, RF amplifier, filters, mixer, all are connected or cascaded. So there is a considerable interest in the RFIC research due to the cost benefit of the shifting as much as the wireless transceiver as possible to single technology, which in turn would allow for a system on chip solution as opposed to the more common system on package. So that point of view, that RFIC design is very important, and that is going to implementable in the particular system on chip applications. So that is from my side. So all the references are already connected with the particular case. So any doubt, anyone? Let me know.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to request our audience to kindly put up any questions if they have any, or else they can directly ask or they can put their questions in the chat box.
Any queries from audience side? No, okay. Anyone working in the particular analog and RF circuit, you can interact also. No question means maybe the lecture was not interesting or not informative. Or if not, that is also in that way, I can say that you understand all these things.
Hello, Susan sir.
Yes, Amitu sir, you can.
Okay, I will ask one question. I am just waited that other can.
Okay, sure, sir.
Actually, it's a very good session. You have explained very nice manner. So my question is, whenever you are designing some RF circuits, have you used some inductor in your design?
Right. I have already used.
So how you have done the layout for that inductor?
So actually, I have, yeah. So in the inductor, I applied directly the active inductor in one design. So I checked that in that case, in the active area, the area is occupied more. So that point of view, the design is not as a particular. We can say that it is a customized one. But in the place of the inductor, we have already changed to a CMOS concept.
Okay.
So when I using the CMOS in the place of the inductor, you can check, you can Google it, the inductor can be replaced with the particular CMOS concept. So in that point of view, we can replace the inductor because inductor is occupying the most more area. That should be removed from the design. So that's why the MOSFET concept is applied there. So suppose in the normal MOSFET, suppose already someone designed in the inductor place of the CMOS, you can apply the DTMOS concept in the place of the normal CMOS. That designed by your name. Just check the result after the post simulation is coming up to that level or not. That is the particular output. That is a new paperwork.
Okay, another one question I want to ask that. So while we are designing this analog, just like we are concentrate about that more W by L ratio value. So in the RF, while you are designing, So because I have not gone through RF more details, I'm in analog domain. So when you are designing the RF circuits, like you have so many things. So what are the parameters you are taking? Like whether you are using some ABCD that S parameters, like today morning one of the teacher told that whether you are using that S parameters.
Exactly. Very good, nice question. So depends upon your design. I have already showed here the mixer design. So that's why I focus the conversion gain, like linearity, all these things. And the S parameter is important in the case of the low noise amplifier. So in the LNA case, the particular S parameter concept is there. So without calculation of the S parameter, we cannot find the particular output. So in that 4 S parameter, S21, S11 like that, S21 is the particular gain there, the LNA. So that's why we can say that that particular S parameter calculation is also important in the particular case of your RF design also.
The another one concept you have told in that two-stage op-amp circuit diagram, somewhat like that circuit, your substrate is connected to gate. Okay, what is that concept? Can you please explain?
Yeah, that is called as the DTMOS concept, dynamic threshold MOSFET, or metal oxide semiconductor. Here, when the bulk or the substrate is connected to the gate, so already the VGS, gate to source terminal, as gate to VGS, gate to source terminal connected, and gate is connected to the body. So here the VGS, the particular threshold voltage, VT equal to with the particular formula. In that case, the mod of 2 pi f and VGS part is there. When the VGS is going to here, going to change. So depending on the VGS going to change, the threshold voltage is going to change. And due to threshold voltage change, just concept of depend upon the ID current. What is the case of saturation current? ID equal to K by 2 into VGS minus VT whole square. When the VGS going to change, obviously the current going to change. And the current is going to change, conversion gain is going to change. And also the power consumption, P equal to VI. In that way also it is going to change. That's the concept of DTMOS, dynamic threshold MOSFET. The bulk and the gate is going to connect it.
Sir, whether have you referred some journal whether it can be fabricated?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. That's why I've applied. It is already implemented in fabrication in 2017 or 18 paper, and that is another design. So that concept I've already implemented in my design. And another 2 concepts that switching bias technique and then the current source helper. That's why it is already there in the already it is published in the 2021 Spinger. But
Okay,
they asked me regarding the particular the particular fabrication result or measurement result. But in India there is no facility because we have to give the sufficient amount for the fabrications, and there is no research or funding like that. So that point of view we can say
Sasan sir, whatever model file you are using, you told that what
UMC.
model file you have?
The foundry, UMC,
That is also for CMOS as well as for RF, same type of thing.
Same. Yeah, depend upon the spectra or RF spectra. Depend upon that one we can use.
Okay, thank you, Sasan sir. It's a very nice presentation.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Any further questions from audience side? Yeah, I will try to share the slide as much as possible. Okay. There is one question in the chat box. I can take it. What kind of performance-based difference is there in RF circuits in simulation and foundry circuits? Yeah, very good question. In the simulation point of view, we check up to the parasitic extractions. What are the resistance and capacitance are there? That point of view, you can check that effect on the particular part. Okay. So that simulation-based result will be not equal to the measurement result, because after the particular fabrication of chip design, so there is the gathering placed and other metal is connected. So due to that, your simulation result is not going to match. So that's why in the case we can say that the particular difference is there. So that's why the particular post simulation results will be going to the particular design should be a customized one. The layout should be a customized one, so that the particular answer or particular design results is going to nearly match to the measurement result. So in that point, we can say that the simulation at the particular foundry or particular foundry circuit or foundry measurement results can compare.
or any question from the audience side? Okay, thank you, Rahul ji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this informative session. You spared your valuable time among us, and really the session was very informative. And thank you, Shashank, sir.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Dear audience, the link for the feedback has been already posted in the chat box, so you may use the link to give your feedbacks and attendance. So we are at the end of session number 12, which was handled by research person Dr. Shashank Sekhar Rao upon the topic CMOS RFIC design for SOC application. Again, so today is the end of the fourth day of the online FTT, and tomorrow again we are going to meet at 10 a.m. for the next session. So thank you for your support and cooperation till now. Again, we will meet tomorrow at 10 a.m. for the last day of the online FTP for the fifth day at 10 a.m. Thank you all.